हरि ओम। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री आदित्याय नमः। ओम श्री महाविष्णवे नमः। ओम श्री महादेवाय नमः। ओम श्री दुर्गायै नमः। ओम सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं। भवानी शङ्करो वन्दे श्रद्धाविश्वासरूपिणो याभ्यां विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्धाः स्वान्तस्तमीश्वरम्। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। रामाय रामभद्राय रामचन्द्राय वेधसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीतायाः पतये नमः। बुद्धिर्बलं यशोधैर्यं निर्भयत्वमरोगता अजाड्यं वाक्पटुत्वं च हनुमत्स्मरणात् भवेत्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्य देहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ओम नमः शिवाय 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 ओम नमः शिवाय। नमः पार्वती पतये हर हर महादेव। Hari Om, Hari Om. So we are seeing the 5th chapter of Gita. It begins with Arjuna's question. He is asking, what is better, Karma Yoga or Karma Sannyas? Bhagavan says both will lead a person towards the supreme goal of enlightenment, but Karma Yoga is better than Karma Sannyas if one has not gained enough Vairagya and one has not gained knowledge. Then one should begin with Karma Yoga, and with Karma Yoga, as the mind becomes more and more pure, we will gain that jidnyasa. When we approach the teacher, we come to understand the nature of our own self. Then when we contemplate on this, we gain conviction about our own self. We come to understand that this Atma is Brahma. I am Atma Brahma, which is birthless, deathless, pure existence, consciousness and bliss, Satchidananda Swarupa. I come to understand that I am not this mind, this body, this Pancha Mahabhut, Mano Buddhi Hankara Chittaninaham, Nacha Shrotra Jivve, Nacha Grana Netre, Nacha Vyoma Bhumir Na Tejo Na Vayuhu, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I come to understand that I am that pure Shiva, Chidananda Rupa, and I am not these 5 elements, nor the body which is made up of 5 elements, nor the senses, nor the antakarana. So when a person gains such deep conviction about his own self, should drop all karmas, and some karmas will remain due to prarabdha. So one should drop the sense of doership in those karmas. That even when one is seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, one should bring that deep understanding, that bhavana, that naiva kinchit karomi, that I am not doing anything. I, the self, am not doing anything. So this is karma sannyas. So along with this karma sannyas, one should assert one's own nature, gain abidance in one's own self. But if one has not gained that knowledge, then one should follow the path of Karma Yoga, dedicating all our actions to Brahma, Ishvara. When we develop that attitude, then we remain in this world without getting contaminated. So yogis, Karma Yogis perform action to purify their mind, to gain that Vairagya, and finally gain that knowledge. So one who is well established in Karma Yoga ultimately attains that Shanti of moksha. So yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim. But one who is not following the path of Karma Yoga gets more and more attached to the karma, gets more and more attached to karma phala, and gets bound in this samsara. So, through Karma Yoga, when the chitta becomes shuddha and we gain that knowledge of our own self, and when we gain that abidance in one's own self, then karma sannyas happens automatically, spontaneously. One doesn't have to put forth effort for karma sannyas. Such a person remains in the body, observing all the activities happening, but knows that I am not doing anything. So sarva karmani manasa sanyasya, having renounced all the karmas, aste sukham vashi, remains happy with total control over everything. Navadvare pure dehi, in this body which has got 9 openings, so remains in this body as one's own self, as the Sakshi. Naiva kurvan na karayan, neither doing any activity nor propelling anyone to act. Doesn't propel the senses nor the mind to act, nor does anything. Atma remains free of all activity, so one remains as that self, totally abiding in the self, having no identification with the body, the mind, the senses, no identification with any activities, remains absolutely untouched. But the body continues to exist and all the activities continue to happen because of the prarabdha, but this self-realized master knows that I am not doing anything. So naiva kurvan na karayan. So a question comes in our mind that if the Atma is not doing anything and if all the activities are happening, then how the activities are happening? What makes all these activities happen? So what is the whole mechanism behind it? That is what is now said, explained in the next verse, verse number 14, 1-4. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. Bhagavan says that न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः. This Atma, the Antaratma, the self within this body, is indicated here as Prabhu. Prabhu means the master, the Lord. We are in this body as the Lord of this body, as it was said before, Navadvare pure dehi. So this dehi, this Atma, is the Prabhu, is the Supreme Lord, Supreme Master. What does he do? He says, na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya shrujati. The Atma doesn't create a sense of doership in anyone, nor does this Atma create any karma. Na karmani lokasya shrujati. Na karma phala sanyogam, nor does it bring about the connection between the karma and the karma phala. Three things are said here. That Prabhu, that Atma, doesn't create. Shrujati means create. Na shrujati, doesn't create. Kartrutvam. Kartrutvam means sense of doership. There is a sense of doership which is there, which activates all the actions. But this Atma is not the cause of that. Atma doesn't create a sense of doership, doesn't propel the senses nor the mind, intellect to act. Na kartutvam, na karmani, nor does that Atma create any karma, any activity. It doesn't create any activity. See, just like space, lot of objects are there in space, and all those objects are constantly in motion. If you look at this earth or the whole our solar system, all so many planets are there. 8 planets are there. They are in search of the 9th one. So planets are there. So many other heavenly bodies are there. The asteroids and the Oort cloud. So many things are there which are under the influence of the sun, and all of them are moving. Where are they moving? In space. Does the space make them move? No. The space doesn't make anybody move. The space doesn't prevent anyone from moving. The space doesn't create anything. The space remains untouched, asangaha. Space remains free from all influences, free from all what you call motivation. It just exists. In that pure existence of the space, all these activities happen. Similarly, this Atma is like space. It doesn't do anything. See, just like if space wants to catch something, it cannot catch. If somebody wants to just settle in space, the space doesn't catch it. Space, you cannot catch space, and space doesn't catch anything. Space remains asangaha, untouched. Similarly, that Atma is untouched. It doesn't create any doership, nor does it propel anyone to perform action, nor does it create an action, nor does it bring the association of action and the result of action. See, when we perform an action, we get the appropriate result. Even in the physical world, if an action is performed, then equal and opposite reaction also happen. That is the result. So Atma doesn't create action, nor does it create the reaction, nor does it bring them together. Means there is no activity happening in that pure self. But actions are happening constantly. Actions are seen in an ignorant person. Actions are happening in a wise person also. Even an enlightened person, we see that person walking, talking, sitting, speaking, sleeping, thinking, feeling. All the activities we see in an ignorant person, we see happening in a wise person also. So if Atma is not doing, then who is doing? Or how all these actions are happening? So here Bhagavan says, swabhavastu pravartate. All these activities are happening according to swabhava. Now what is this swabhava? Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji writes कि स्वभावः स्वभावः अविद्या लक्षणा प्रकृतिः माया प्रवर्तते दैवीः इत्यादिना वक्ष्यमाणा. This swabhava is Maya or Prakriti associated with avidya. It's called avidya sanyuktam avyaktam or avidya lakshana prakriti. Maya associated with avidya, which makes everything function. Means it is like in that Maya the whole programming is there, and according to that programming all these activities keep on happening. To understand this, let us analyze our actions. Let us say I perform some action. I prepare a cup of tea. So that how it begins, the thought comes in my mind, let me have a cup of tea, nice hot tea. So that thought comes. When that thought comes, it just doesn't come and go, it keeps coming. The mind keeps thinking about it. The tea thought keeps on coming and getting repeated in the mind, that I want to have a cup of tea. It will be nice hot tea. So when that thought comes repeatedly, then the decision is taken. The intellect takes the decision that I will make tea and drink it. So when that decision is taken, that decision activates the karmendriyas, activates the body, activates the pranas, the pancha pranas. So the body gets up from the seat, goes to the kitchen. It activates the memory. I remember where the vessels are kept, from where we should take the water, where is the tea leaves, where is the sugar. All this memory also gets activated. They again activate the decision. So the antakarana, mana, buddhi, chitta keeps on functioning together and activating this physical body, activates the pranas, and the action of making tea happens. Then the tea is made and I drink the tea. All this coordination of mana, buddhi, chitta and all the senses, they are all coordinated by ahankar, which is also part of that antakarana. So the ahankar coordinates all these activities and the final activity happens. This ahankar is having the samskar. The antakarana has got samskar of the past, of drinking tea, of all the experiences of the past is there. So based on those samskar, the thoughts come, the decisions are taken, the coordination of all these activities happen, and finally the result also is gained. But in all this process, the Atma is not involved at all. The body, mind, intellect is made up of Prakriti. The samskar and all is made up of Prakriti. But the basic cause for all this samskar and everything is avidya. I not knowing myself as I am. I don't know that I am that Brahma. That is the avidya. So this avidya has given rise to various samskar, and the stock of samskars are there. So this ahankar is there, mind, intellect, chitta is there, lot of samskars are there, world is there. So when some things happen in the world, the physical body along with this antakarana and the senses respond to that world according to the samskar, and according to the samskar the activities happen. So this prakriti associated with avidya makes all activity happen, not only in an individual but in the totality also. So that is what is called swabhava. Avidya sanyuktam avyaktam. Avidya and maya. Association of avidya and maya together make all this activity happen. Maya is different, avidya is different. Maya is Bhagwan's Shakti, avidya is our own ignorance, that I don't know my own supreme nature. It's an absence of that knowledge in the buddhi, that avidya is abhava roop. It's an absence. I don't know my real nature. This absence has given rise to various desires, and a stock of desires are there. And based on this stock of desires, and based on the equipment, and based on this world, and reaction to this world keeps on happening, which we call the activity. Atma is not at all involved. I, the Atma, is not involved. This is very deep and very difficult to comprehend, but a self-realized master understands this nature of Atma and just becomes free of all the activities. He has got this firm understanding that I am not the doer. Naiva kinchit karomi iti. All the activities are happening according to the laws of nature, according to the avidya and the association of avidya with maya. All these activities are happening. That's called swabhava. Now let us try to understand this with the help of some other example of modern times. Like they have sent one a vehicle with different machines, with different machines and computers and all. One vehicle is sent, a probe, on Mars, the planet Mars. So NASA and the scientists of NASA together they worked and prepared a vehicle. A vehicle is there with all the equipments, and it is totally controlled by all the computers and all. And the program is fed into it. Everything is fed. And that is sent on that Mars it lands there and it opens up and the vehicle comes out and its camera also pops out. It observes everything. It has been given the command from Houston that open up everything. Now start moving and click all the photograph what you see. Now you are seeing that one place. Now drill into it, take sample from there, analyze the sample, find out what are the chemicals involved, send information to Houston, to NASA. So all these activities which are happening in the robo, in that vehicle, is all guided by the software which is already there. It is guided by artificial intelligence. The initial push is given by the scientist, but many things the vehicle itself decides. If it sees some danger, it stops. If it encounters some bad weather and all, it closes, it shuts down. If thinks that everything is fine, it opens up. So all this response which is happening is already fed in that computer and accordingly it functions. Similarly, in our samskar, all the impressions from past, from beginningless time is there. In our mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar, all these samskars are there. And based on this samskar, one responds to the world, reacts to the world. That samskar is called swabhava, our swabhava, and also from the totality standpoint, the totality is swabhava. So based on this swabhava, all activities happen. They are all programmed. Our mana, buddhi, chitta, ahankar is programmed. And according to the program, we respond. The body, mind, intellect, equipment responds. And accordingly all the activity happen. This will go on and on and on. But by Bhagwan's grace, through some satsang, when in our mana, buddhi, intellect, equipment, some positive thought enters, some thought of understanding our own self, a thought of understanding that Advaita Tattva enters, then it starts activating a different type of program which will ultimately lead to self-knowledge and freedom. So it's a very strange and a very deep mechanism which is set into motion. So that Bhagwan conveys here with that one word, swabhava. It's a very deep, very subtle word which tells us how activity happen in our body, mind, intellect, equipment, and it also tells us how activities are happening in the entire world. So I, the self, is not the doer. In fact, if we at all want to say somebody is the doer, then this Prakriti is the doer. And this Prakriti is being held by that Ishvara, handled by Hiranyagarbha, handled by Vaishvanara. So Vaishvanara, Hiranyagarbha, Ishvara is the real doer. But they do according to the total samskar. So the total samskar of all the beings are there, associated with this Maya, Shakti of Bhagwan. All the activities of this world, it happens. So when we understand our own self, we will understand that I am not the doer. All the activities, they happen, but I am not doing anything. See, again, to understand this, now when I am awake, I am breathing, I feel that I am breathing. I breathe in, I breathe out, I feel that proactively I am breathing. But when I go to sleep, when I am in deep sleep state, the breathing continues to happen. The body is lying there. Breathing keeps on happening in the body. Growth of the body happens. Circulation of the blood takes place. Digestion happens. All the pancha pranas, they function. Their activity keep on happening. And the body keeps on growing, and all the activities in the body happen. But these pranas are not proactively activated by me. The pranas are just functioning, because the pranas are the Kriya Shakti of Ishvara. So Ishvara handles that prana. Ishvara makes not only our body function, but makes the whole world function according to the samskar of each and every jiva. So the samskar of each and every jiva plus the prakriti together make everything function. That's what Bhagavan says here, ki na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya shrujati prabhuhu. This Atma is neither propelling any activity to happen, nor is making anyone perform any activity, nor does it bring about the sanyog, the connection between the action and the result of action. All these things happen according to swabhava. Swabhavastu pravartate. Further, Bhagavan says, he continues with this thought. He says, Nadatte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu ajnane navritam jnanam te namuyyanti jantavaha. Bhagavan says, this Prabhu, now here Bhagavan uses another word, vibhuhu. Vibhu means all pervading Paramatma. This Atma is actually the all pervading supreme Brahma only, which is present everywhere, which is the self of all, which pervades all, which is the Param Atma, the supreme self. So that supreme self is called Vibhu, all pervading Paramatma. It's called Vibhu. So that Vibhu, that Paramatma, na datte kasyachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu. That Paramatma also doesn't do anything. He says that na adatte kasyachit papam. He doesn't take anybody's papa, anybody's sin. Na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu. Nor does he take anybody's punya. The Paramatma doesn't take the papa nor the punya of anyone. But the jivas, they worship that Paramatma. They offer their all the activities to that Paramatma. But here Bhagavan says that Param Atma, that supreme self, that Brahma, doesn't take anybody's papa also, doesn't take anybody's punya also. There is no activity, there is no, it is pure existence, pure consciousness, pure bliss. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Then how does all these people perform their action? They are motivated by their own ignorance. They perform this action. Ajnanena avrutam jnanam tena muhyanti jantavaha. Bhagavan says that ajnana, the ignorance, and the samskar of ignorance has as though veiled knowledge of all these jivas, and due to this ajnana they perform action with the attitude that I am doing this action, I am performing this action to get this result, I am offering this action to Ishvara, I am doing this karma for the sake of this person, I am doing this for the sake of my family. So in this way, an ignorant jiva, propelled by his own ignorance, propelled by his own samskar, he performs all actions. So those actions are untouched by our own self, as well as that supreme self, that Paramatma also remains untouched by the activities of all the jivas, remains untouched by the activities of this whole world. Again, to give the example of Akash, just like this space is there in this pot, so let us say a lot of activity happen in that pot. All this movement of this Sukshma Sharir happen in this pot, but that Akash remains totally untouched by all these activities. Not only this Akash space in this pot remains untouched, but the space, all pervading space, also remains untouched by all the activities happening in this vast, supreme world. See, if you go to Kurukshetra, many years ago, a terrible war was fought in the same space. But if you go now and see, the space is totally untouched by the war which happened in the past. It is untouched by things happening in the present, and it will remain untouched by things which will happen in future. Similarly, that Paramatma doesn't take the papa of any beings, nor does he take any punya, nor does he get involved in any activity. There is no activity as far as the Paramatma is concerned. So just as no activities are happening in Atma, no activities are happening in that Paramatma also. So Jiva, due to ignorance, feels, wrongly assumes that I am doing this action for the sake of this result, or I am doing this action, dedicating this action to Paramatma, and all these things he thinks, but all this is in the field of ignorance only. As far as that Atma or the Paramatma is concerned, no activities are happening there. It is absolutely free from all actions. So a person who has gained that knowledge of this self and has gained abidance in this self becomes free of samsara. And that is what Bhagavan says, that this jnana, Atma jnana, makes a person free of samsara. He says in the next verse, Jnanena tu tadajnanam esham nashitam atmanaha tesham adityavad jnanam prakashayati tatparam. Bhagavan says, Jnanena tu tad ajnanam esham nashita Nashitam Atmanaha. That Atmanaha Ajnanam. The Ajnan which is there in a Jiva, that I don't know myself. I don't know that I am Brahma. This Ajnana we have, and this Ajnana is there from the beginningless time. Actually, the Ajnana is not a particular thing. It's an absence of knowledge. Jnana abhava. In the buddhi, the knowledge that I am Brahma is not there. Everything else is there. But the knowledge that I am Brahma is not there. So when through proper sadhana, through karma yoga, through upasana, through bhakti, then approaching a teacher and learning this truth, learning about our own self, when we gain that knowledge, then what happens? Jnanena tu tad ajnanam esham nashitam atmanaha. That knowledge destroys that ignorance, means that knowledge removes that false notion which we have. That ignorance goes away. Just ignorance is like the darkness, knowledge is like light, so that light of knowledge dispels the darkness within. Then that thought that I am a jiva, I am limited, I am born, I will die, all these things disappear. Deep understanding happens that I am Brahma, I am unborn, I am neither born nor do I die. There are no modification and change happening in me. This deep understanding and conviction happens. That's called knowledge. Deep, firm conviction take place that I am that Brahma. So when that conviction take place, that knowledge when it happens, that knowledge is like fire. That knowledge is like the sun. Tesham adityavad jnanam. Here Bhagavan compares that knowledge, self-knowledge, with the sun. So just as the powerful sun, when it rises, all the darkness of this world get dispelled. Similarly, when that knowledge arises, when one comes to gain that conviction that I am Brahma, that knowledge is like Aditya, like the sun, which illumines the whole thing, prakashayati, and in that illumination of that knowledge, we come to recognize, we come to realize our own self. It illumines that Param Brahma gets illumined, as though, means through this knowledge we come to gain direct experience of our own self. With the self-knowledge, when we renounce all our action and practice nididhyasan, we gain abidance in that knowledge. We come to directly experience that I am that Brahma. One gains aparoksha anubhuti of one's own self. So this aparoksha anubhuti happens after one gains knowledge through Shravan and Manan. Then the karma sannyas happens, nididhyasan happens, and one gains direct experience of one's own self. See, for example, let us say we get the experience of our sleep. We are awake, then we feel very, very sleepy, but still we are awake. Even when we are very sleepy, we are awake. Then we put forth effort to sleep. We drop all our activities. We lie down on the bed we close our eyes. So dropping all the activity is like karma sannyas. The desire to go to sleep, I want sleep and sleep alone, is like jnana. Then dropping all the activities and lying down on the bed, shutting our eyes and surrendering to that sleep is like karma sannyas. And when that sleep happens, that is like jnana nishtha. One gains abidance in that sleep, one becomes sleep. There remains no difference between the one who is trying to sleep and sleep. One becomes of the nature of sleep. In the same way, when we gain knowledge that I am Brahma, I renounce all actions and meditate on that understanding that I am Brahma. And as I meditate, I gain more and more abidance in that understanding that I am Brahma. And then that even thought that I am Brahma disappears and I remain as Brahma. I gain direct experience, aparoksha anubhuti of myself as Brahma. That is what Bhagavan conveys in this shloka. These are very subtle shlokas because slowly Bhagavan is preparing our mind for the topic of meditation, which will come up in the next verse, in the next chapter. But here is the topic of karma sannyas. So, jnanena tu tad ajnanam esham nashitam atmanaha. So, through knowledge, when the ajnana gets destroyed, then that knowledge, like the rising sun, like the powerful sun, illumines and reveals our own identity directly. We gain direct anubhuti of our own self. So one who has gained that direct anubhuti of oneself through this process, what is the experience of that person? What happens? That Bhagavan now reveals in the next verse. So let us chant the next verse. Tad buddhayastadaatmanaha tannishthastat parayanaha gacchantya punaravrittim jnana nirdhuta kalmashaha. Bhagavan says that as we meditate on our own self, what happens? Tad buddhayaha, our buddhi gets totally identified with the tat Brahma. Tasmin gata buddhihi esham te tad buddhayaha. Our buddhi not only understands that I am Brahma, but totally gets focused on that understanding that I am Brahma. The buddhi as though merges in that understanding that I am Brahma. That's called tad buddhayaha. The buddhi becomes one with that Brahma. Just like a mirror, when an object is kept in front of a clean, pure mirror, the object, the reflection of the object is very beautifully projected in that mirror. The real object and the reflection becomes as though one, means the mirror reflects the object perfectly. If you look at that reflection and look at the object, you will not see any difference. So the mirror as though has become one with that object. In the same way, the buddhi is like that mirror, which becomes totally one with that Brahma, that is called Tad Buddhayaha. The Buddhi has become Tadrupa of the nature of Brahma. Tad Atmanaha means one comes to understand that that Brahma is our own self. Tad eva param Brahma Atma Isham. One who has understood that Brahma is my own self. This I am Atma is Brahma. This Atma which I was thinking is there only confined to this body is actually that Brahma, the all-pervading Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma is my own self. This self is Brahma. The space in the pot and the total space is one. The self in this body and the self in all is one. That firm understanding happens, realization happens. That is called Tad Atmanaha. That Tad Brahma is understood as Atma. And Tan Nishthaha. And the person becomes what you call firmly abides in this understanding. Nishtha, that firm abidance in that understanding happens. Nishtha abhiniveshaha. Tatparyam sarvani karmani sanyasya brahmani eva avasthanam esham te tannishtaha. All karmas and all the sense of doership are dropped completely and one totally merges or abides in oneself as Brahma. That is called Tannistha. So when one reaches this state, then what happens? Jnana nirdhuta kalmasha. All the kalmash, all the samskar, all the impurities of the antakarana at this point gets totally wiped out. All the sanchita karma gets wiped out. All the agami karma gets wiped out. Prarabdha karma is already giving results, so it will remain till the body lasts. But all sanchita karma, agami karma gets totally cleaned. It gets deleted. See, just like in our computer or in our mobile also, let us say you have lots of pictures taken and lot of videos and different images are there in your gallery. Then you just go to that gallery, select all the pictures and videos and delete them. Delete them from the trash also. Completely delete it. So when you open that gallery, it says no pictures are there. Similarly, when a person gains that abidance in Aham Brahmasmi, that I am Brahma, all the samskars of the past get deleted completely. The trash can becomes empty. There are no samskars of the past. So that is called Jnana Nirdhuta Kalmashaha. Through this knowledge, all the kalmash, all the samskars, all the sins, all the past impurities, all the karmas get totally cleaned. So such a person is called an enlightened person, a Jivan Mukta. As long as this body is there, he is seen to be functioning through this body. But once the prarabdha of the body is over, once the body gets dropped, then there is no more rebirth for that person. Gachanti apunaravrittim. That person leaves this body and leaves the sukshma sharir also. The sukshma sharir also gets disintegrated, merged in the totality. Therefore, this Jiva is not born again. He has become Brahma. He is Brahma. There is no difference between an enlightened person and Brahma. Brahmavid Brahmaiva Bhavati. So there is no more birth, no more samsara, no more sorrow, pain, fear, tragedy for this person. So Gachanti apunaravritti. Apunaravritti means to come back. Apunar, he doesn't come back. There is no coming back into the samsara. He goes to that dhama where there is no return from there. Tad dhama paramam mama. Yad gatva na nivartante. Means become one with Brahma, becomes everything. There is no coming and going. So that is the phala of karma sannyas and jnana nishtha. So after karma yoga, he has gained knowledge, then renounces karma, meditates, gain that firm abidance in that self, and once that abidance happens, becomes free of all bondage, becomes a jivan mukta, and all his karmas get wiped out. So these are very subtle and very deep shlokas which we have done today. So you please go through your notes. If you have not written notes, then again listen to this pravachan, contemplate, understand, because this is a path of understanding. That understanding itself transforms us. You don't have to do anything. As we understand, we move ahead in our spiritual path. Because the ultimate goal is to understand and gain abidance in that understanding. That I am Brahma. So contemplate, try to understand more and more, deeper and deeper, better and better. And that itself will take us towards our supreme goal. So more about this we will see in our class tomorrow. So till then you take care, remain safe, remain healthy, happy, peaceful, do all your work. Remember Bhagwan, chant his name, pray for the welfare of the whole world. Because the whole world is your own self. So pray for the welfare of your own self as this world. And we will meet again tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. Jaya Jaya Ram. बोलिए सियावर रामचंद्र भगवान की जय. ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।